Hello dear listeners, how are you all? Hope all will be fine. My name is Neil, and I bring you scary ghost and amazing mystery stories. Today's story is about a man who feels someone's presence in his house. Along with him, his girlfriend also often stayed at his house, but he never felt that way. After listening to the story, tell us in the comments if it was a mental innovation of this man or if an entity was really bothering him. Listen to the story till the end. Before starting the story, please like the video, and if you have come to our channel for the first time, then also subscribe to the channel. So let's start the story. Sometime 3 weeks ago, I started feeling the presence of another person in my house. I'm always in my house alone, except for when my girlfriend sleeps over or a family member visits. Thus, whenever I had that feeling of the presence of another person, I waved it off as my imagination. I was never scared, as I never believed in spirits or ghosts. The feeling continued and gradually became more pronounced. As the days passed, it became stronger. Initially, it started with having the feeling that someone was watching my every move in the house. Later, it felt like someone was tailing me as I walked around the house. I would turn out of curiosity, but won't see anybody. I would then try to convince myself that it was mere imagination. A few days later, I started feeling touches from someone I couldn't see. I would be in the sitting room seeing movies, and someone would tap me gently on the shoulder or blow air into my ear. In reaction, I would turn swiftly but wouldn't see anybody or anything. Sometimes I would be deeply asleep, and I would feel someone shaking me to wake up. When I woke up, there would be nobody there. At one time, I was wide awake reading in my room when I felt some tickling under my foot. It was as if someone was rubbing a feather gently under my foot to tickle me. Reacting to the stimuli, shook my feet and continued reading. Then the sensation came again. I carefully checked if there was anything there, but there was none. Yet, the tickling continued and only took breaks when I shook my legs. I became a little scared, but managed to convince myself that it was nothing. Later that night, I was sleeping in my bed and turned. My body hit against someone else's. I woke up with a start and found no one beside me. It was at that point that I started believing something was not right. The next day, I told my girlfriend what I thought I had been experiencing. She laughed at me for being scared of nothing. She said I claimed to be strong and not afraid of ghosts, but I was afraid of my own house. She offered to spend the night in my house and experience the supernatural presence I claimed to have experienced. We slept through the night and nothing happened. None of us experienced any of the things I experienced earlier. While she was leaving for work the next morning, she jokingly told me to beg her to come back to my house in the evening to babysit me. I laughed over it, but deep down, I believed what I felt was real. When I got back from work that evening, it was already late. Immediately I opened the door to my sitting room. I perceived an alluring feminine perfume oozing from my apartment. It wasn't the fragrance of my girlfriend's perfume, but to rule out all possibilities, I called her to inquire if she came to my house that evening. She answered negatively. When I got to my room, I discovered that all my belongings were perfectly arranged, and the dirty clothes I had in the basket had been washed and hung in my bathroom. I believed my girlfriend came over but wanted to play pranks on me. I called her again, asking her to stop playing and take the credit for tidying up my house. But the tone with which she told me she was not the one made me believe she was telling the truth. But who did it then? That night, I could not sleep. The thoughts of the experiences I've had and that of the recent one made me scared. I thought of going over to my girlfriend's apartment to spend the night, but the idea of running away from the house I pay rent on, the house I've lived in for 3 years, stopped me. Also, didn't want to give her any opportunity to yap me more. So I stayed. I was determined to protect my pride and face whatever that would happen. Yet the fear of that which may happen kept me awake and reacting to every little sound. Much later into the night, nature called and I slept off involuntarily. In that sleep, I had a dream. In that dream, someone was asking me why I chose my girlfriend over her. The identity of the person was not initially revealed, but she sounded very heartbroken. She reminded me of how much she loved me and how she was willing to do anything for my love. I was confused. I tried asking who she was, but she broke into tears. After crying for a while, she told me she saw me every day, but I hardly noticed her. I was touched by the words she said, and I tried to console her. After she had calmed down, I begged her to reveal her identity. Reluctantly she did, and I gasped. Indeed, I know her very well, and I touched her every day, intentionally and unintentionally. It was the teddy bear my girlfriend bought some weeks back. She loves teddy bears, and she bought them whenever she had the opportunity. I don't like teddies, but I let her keep that one in my apartment to make her happy. Immediately I learned the identity of my supposed lover. I woke up covered in sweat. As I opened my eyes, the first sight I beheld was the teddy bear sitting right in my face. It was not there when I slept. I sprang up, screamed, and ran outside the house. I came back much later when the day had become bright and took the teddy to the backyard where I burnt it. But to my surprise, hours after the burning, I couldn't find any trace of its ashes. It all vanished. When I told my girlfriend about her Evi teddy bear, she didn't believe me. She said I only used that as a cover to discard her teddy because I didn't like it. But I alone know what I experienced, and I'm not ready to convince her.